Good morning and welcome along. It's time for another MotoGP team launch, 2 in the space of 24 hours, and we're keeping the orange theme as well as we go from the Red Bull KTM factory racing squad to the Repsol Honda team launch today. It's a new look, a new chapter, a clean slate for the Repsol Honda squad as they go into life without Marc Marquez. Now Joan and Luca Marini about to walk out in about half an hour's time live in Madrid to kick off this 2024 adventure. Of course, now alongside Yamaha having that concession status, meaning that it's a very, very busy year ahead for not only Luca Marini and Joan Mir, but Stefan Bradl and all of the Repsol Honda testing squad. Lots for us to talk about, especially after the 6 days that they had testing in Malaysia last week to see if progress has been made and if Honda are on the ascendancy and on the climb back up to the summit of MotoGP. This is halfway through a very, very busy week indeed for MotoGP team launches. As I said, yesterday KTM, today Repsol Honda, and this is what is coming up as we go throughout the rest of the week as well. Only a little bit to wait, 48 hours time on Thursday, LCR Honda will be officially getting their campaign underway. A new look lineup there as well as Johan Zarco comes on board alongside Taka Nakagami. Then on Sunday, just ahead of the Qatar test, time for Aleix Espargaro and Maverick Vinales to kick off Aprilia's new season. Once we've got the Qatar test over and done with, then on the 28th of February, a very, very special team launch as well to finish off team presentation season as Jorge Martin and Franco Morbidelli pull the covers off their GP24s in the Bahrain Formula One paddock. They will be alongside the stars of Four Wheels there to officially round off what has been a very busy, a very interesting, a very diverse all 11 MotoGP team presentations. A big show in store for you once again. Lots of people to chat to, lots of people to get their opinion on because Honda are, of course, a hot talking point in the MotoGP paddock. We'll be crossing live to Madrid very shortly to hear from Liam Hodgins, who's our man on site today. Then we'll be hearing from Neil Morrison, the man who joins me in commentary for Moto3, also the voice of Moto2 as well. And it may not well be the voice, but he's certainly the scribe for plenty of MotoGP newspapers, websites, podcasts around the world. So no better man to speak to get the inside line on Honda there. Then we'll be crossing to Madrid for the live presentation at 10 o'clock local time here in Spain. Before then, once that finishes off at around 11 o'clock, and not only will we be hearing live from the likes of Luca Marini, Joan Mir and Alberto Puig, but Simon Crafar is going to join us as well, fresh from his trip to Sepang, to give us all of the insight, all of the analysis from everything that went down in Sepang to officially get us warmed up for the start of the season, which is now, I believe, 25 days away. The Trackhouse Racing Squad informing us this morning that it is Ralph Fernandez days away from the season officially starting. As ever, we want to hear from you guys, whether you're watching us on Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever it may well be. Make sure that you comment in the chat, in the stream. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what your thoughts, your hopes, your predictions are ahead of the season. And if you do have any questions for either Neil Morrison or for Simon Crafard, then do put them in the chat and we'll throw them the direction of our resident experts as we go throughout today's show. As I said, 25 days away from the MotoGP season starting under the lights in Qatar, so no better time. I tell you, every show, and I'm going to do it again, make sure you head to motogp.tickets.com to secure your seat ahead of the new season getting underway. 21 rounds coming your way from March through to the end of November, and make sure you're there to witness what is undoubtedly going to be one of the most fascinating MotoGP seasons in recent memory. Right, shall we get the show started? Let's officially get going and switch our attention to Repsol Honda then, because there is so much to talk about with Repsol Honda. Can they get back to the top of MotoGP? You feel as though it may well be a challenge in 2024, but there's definitely been a change in mindset, a change in attitude there, given the departure of Marc Marquez. Normally we ask you guys, can they win the World Championship? But we think it's a little bit premature for that. So our first poll to kick us off is a very interesting, a very fascinating inter-team duel. Who do you think will be top between Joan Mir and Luca Marini come the end of the 2024 MotoGP World Championship. Of course, Mir has got an extra 12 months experience on the bike, but Marini has certainly stepped across and has adapted pretty well so far. Mir moving across to work with Santi Hernandez and Marc Marquez's old crew, whereas Marini steps in for a little bit of an Italian team up with Giacomo Guidotti, brother, of course, to Francesco, who we spoke to yesterday. Let's get a little bit of a flavour then, a little bit of a sampling of the atmosphere over in Madrid ahead of the Repsol Honda team launch. Delighted to say that our very own Liam Hodgins is there live on site at quite the glamorous location as well. Tell us all about it, Liam. First of all, good morning, and how are things looking there?
Hola, Jack. Buenos dias, everyone. I would love to say, Jack, it was a very beautiful morning when we got here, but it's not. It's very cold, and within the last minute, it just started raining. So I must admit, it's not looking too great. The grey skies have descended upon us. However, that has not disbarred anyone's spirits because everyone is still loving it here. Everyone is pumped up to see the new Repsol Honda. Now, there's a bit of chat that it could look a little bit different this year. We're not sure just yet, but it could potentially have a small hint of a difference. We're all looking forward to seeing it. So as everyone is flooding through the gates behind us that are looking forward to seeing it. And on display, just behind our camera operator here, Oscar, we have a display of some beautiful Repsol Honda, starting with Mick Doohan's NSR 500 from all the way back in 1995, then Nicky Hayden's 2006 RC211V, then Danny Pedrosa's, as you can see now, from 2010, and then the final one, Marc Marquez's 2020 bike. The less said about that one, the better, I must admit, but we've got some beautiful bikes in the past. And I must admit, Jack, I think we're going to get a beautiful bike on display today.
Yeah, great to see so much history there. Of course, it's difficult not to speak about the past and speak about the history with Repsol Honda. Despite their recent struggles, Liam, still the most successful team, arguably the most iconic team on the MotoGP grid. But with their recent struggles, what kind of an atmosphere is there at the moment? Is it one of cautious optimism ahead of the new year?
I think so. There seems to be a bit of a buzz. There seems to be people walking in with smiles on their faces. I've seen some of the engineers, Ken Kawuchi, Kawata-san as well. He's been walked in. He's had a bit of a smile on his face coming into the presentation. So there seems to be quite a bit of a buzz, which is great to see because the last couple of years, Jack, as we know, haven't been too great for Repsol Honda, have they?
No, absolutely not. Well, the setting looks absolutely fantastic, Liam. I'll let you make your way inside and take your seat, and then we'll come across and chat to you just before things get underway in just over 20 minutes' time. And yeah, I've heard the same. Some rumours filtering through, even on Twitter, the Repsol Honda team themselves, saying that we promise that you'll be surprised. So normally, this time of year, we can say with real confidence that the Repsol Honda bike doesn't change from year to year, but with the departure of Marc Marquez, potentially some slight movement in the sponsorship of Repsol, maybe this will be quite a bit different to what we're used to. We'll have to wait and see, though. 20 minutes before we'll find out exactly what the new machine is going to look like. Right, from a Scotsman to a Northern Irishman, from Liam to Neil. Delighted to say that Neil Morrison joins us live now. A man who, I don't believe you were on site in Sepang, Neil, but I'm sure you were across it as ever, setting your alarm at 3 a.m. in the morning like I was. It was a fascinating test for many reasons. For Honda in particular, 6 days, of course, the opportunity to ride at the shakedown with the new concessions. Does it look as though they are on the right path and on the ascendancy, shall we say?
It was actually a 3:30 a.m. alarm, Jack, but not quite as eager as you. But yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you could look at it two ways. The timesheets weren't massively flattering for Honda. You know, Joan Mir in 10th was still some distance away. But there were definitely signs that Honda has kind of changed its course from last year when it really did seem to be a bit rudderless, a bit lost, not really sure which direction to take. There at least seems to be an idea now of which way they're going. Yeah, the timesheets weren't overly flattering, but if you kind of dug a little bit deeper, I mean, Joan Mir, I think, was 1.1 seconds faster than he went in the Grand Prix just a couple of months previously, last November. So, there's been big progress there. It's just the only problem is everyone else has made big progress as well.
For both Japanese factories, it feels as though, given the recent struggles that they've had, they've been forced into pretty radical action, whether it be on Yamaha's side, the arrival of 2 engineers from Ducati, even Honda, the signing of Alex Baumgartel from Kalex. It's not something that we've been used to in the past. The Japanese factories often very proud and like to keep things in-house, but I guess they've been left with no option but to turn to brains elsewhere.
Yeah, I think that has proved to be true. They've really been faced with no other option because they were so far away last year. I mean, it was difficult to think what was the biggest, most disastrous moment of kind of Honda's 2023. There were so many to choose from, but the fact that they were just so far away really did show that they needed to look maybe outside of their usual kind of area of expertise to try and get themselves back on track. And bringing in someone like Alex Baumgartel, we already saw that they were utilizing his kind of know-how with their chassis and their swing arm, which they were running at certain points last year and the year before. But having someone like him as a kind of advisor, I think is a really good move. The guy has basically made the Moto2 class his own in the last decade. And comes from, I think, a DTM background, has a wonderful kind of array of experience, and is just able to kind of put it in very plain layman's terms, which I think is kind of needed. So yeah, that's definitely a good canny bit of signing, I would say, from Honda. And I don't think we're expecting too much from them this year, but it is, I think, a relief for everyone to see that they are at least kind of on the right track again.
You can see the fans at home are split exactly down the middle in terms of who they think will top the inter-team duel. We talk about canny signings. You'd have to say that Luca Marini is another one of them as well. When the news started filtering through, it took many by surprise, but in the end, when you get into the details of it and think about just how intelligent a rider Luca Marini is, it does feel like it was a very, very canny signing indeed to bring the Italian on board.
Yeah, absolutely. He's maybe not the fastest rider in the world. We didn't see him win a race, for example, on Ducati. I think he was the only Ducati rider that didn't win either a sprint race or a feature-length race last year. But he's pretty consistent, and what he does bring is just a kind of unbelievable technical know-how. We all always say that since Andrea Dovizioso retired, Luca Marini is basically the go-to guy to get someone to explain a very complicated technical thing in layman's terms to someone as kind of simple-minded as myself or other journalists that I work with, I guess like yourself as well, Jack. He's been very, very canny, and listened to some of his comments in the shakedown test. He was saying that already he's been able to say to certain Honda engineers, look, the aerodynamics are okay, but this is what the Ducati did, and this is what I think you should do with this package because this will help us in this kind of direction. So I think Honda really have a wonderful kind of tool there that they could utilize to try and get some information, because we know that Ducati kind of lead the way in so many aspects, and being able to tap into just how they do things differently to understand that a bit better. I think Marini and Joan Zarco, I think to a lesser extent in the LCR team, those are two great resources that they can call upon this year.
A couple of fans have been getting in touch, Neil, including Luke Miller, who says he loves your commentary of Moto E. This, a little bit off topic, but still, thanks, Luke, for the question. A championship favourite, are we talking Moto E or Moto GP, though? I mean, we'll get both anyway, since Luke asks.
MotoGP, I think, Jack, I would be hard-pressed to look outside Pecco Bagnaia. I think he's going to be run close. I think I think Marc Marquez will be definitely in the mix. It'll be really interesting to see if someone like Bastianini can reproduce the form from 2022. Brad Binder as well. There's a bit of a question mark. Can he step up and become a proper championship contender this year? I think of what we saw of KTM at the Sepang test, probably, because it looks as though they're definitely a bit closer to Ducati this year. But I don't know, just the way Bagnaia was carrying himself throughout the test. Also, what we saw throughout last year, he's just such an expert at handling pressure. And I think that's really going to stand him in good stead when someone like Marquez, who's really going to try and get under his skin right the way through this year, is going to be kind of, trying to unsettle him pretty much every weekend. So yeah, I'm going to go with Pecco. And for Moto E, difficult one to say at this stage. We haven't had any testing just yet, but maybe I'll plump with Eric Granado. I think it's going to be his year because he's been so close for so many years and not quite got the job done. I think Eric could be the man for this year.
Yeah, I don't think we have the full entry list out for Moto E just yet as well. I believe that may well be coming potentially tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled for that, fans of Moto E. Another one for you here, Neil. We touched on it there with the signing of Luca Marini to the Repsol Honda squad. This from Rizal, asking what expectations should be for the Repsol Honda squads this year. What do you think would be a good year for them?
It's a tough one. I think a good year would be showing steady improvements from the start until the end, almost like what you would say of a rookie. You kind of just want to see that week by week improvement. I don't think they'll be tearing up any trees. I don't think they'll be fighting for race wins. It could be some time until they're fighting for the podium, but I do think there will be tracks this year that the Honda will kind of suit, will click with. We saw last year, even in one of their darkest years, at Kota and in India, the guys were still competitive. Rins obviously won in Kota, and both Mark and Joan were fighting for the podium in India. I think there will be tracks where the Honda will just click straight away. But generally speaking, I think if Marini can become, a consistent top 10 finisher and maybe towards the end of the year, pushing towards becoming a top 8 or top 6 finisher consistently, then I think that would represent a really strong start to his Honda career.
We've touched on Luca Marini. Let's just speak about this man in shot here, Joan Mir. Easy to forget, he was world champion in 2020, but halfway through 2022, when the news about Suzuki came out, it seemed as though his form fell off the edge of a cliff, lost all confidence with a few big crashes in there as well, and things definitely didn't get any easier for him in 2023. How much is this year just about rebuilding Joan Mir back up to being the rider that we all know that he is?
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive year for Mir, isn't it, really? You had to kind of pinch yourself at some points throughout last year and remind yourself that this guy was the MotoGP world champion in 2020. He was third in the world championship in 2021. And sadly, there just wasn't that much evidence of that rider last year. We know the Honda was a very difficult bike and that it bit him quite often. But I think it was clear that Mir just lost a bit of motivation because Honda was so far off. And I think that's understandable. Even Marc Marquez said at certain points last year that his motivation had taken a bit of a battering just because the Honda was so far away. But certainly the signs in Sepang were promising. He was, I think, 1.1 seconds faster on the final day of testing than he was at the GP last year, which is a massive amount of time to improve if you think about it. I think even Luca Marini was saying Mir really was on it for that lap. It does seem that their problem, though, is whenever the tires kind of drop away. We saw a couple of longer runs from some of the Honda guys, and they certainly weren't anywhere near as competitive as the guys on the Aprilias, Ducatis, and even the KTM. So it's a massive year for Mir. He has to be top Honda, I think, right the way through the year to kind of prove that he's capable of leading the factory now. Also, of course, he's changed garage or changed side of the garage. He's moved across to work with Marc Marquez's old crew. So that's a vast kind of level of experience he's walking into as well. Yeah, huge year for him. I think it's pretty important for him to be the kind of top Honda for the most part of it.
Just finally, Neil, impossible to speak about Repsol Honda, and I imagine this will be the last time before we go into the new year and not mention the name Marc Marquez. Every year for the past 30 years, this is the 30th year of Repsol Honda, whether it be Dewan, whether it be Pedrosa, whether it be Marc Marquez, it has always been one of the big events of the pre-season. But given the fact that Marc is no longer with them, doesn't seem to have the same sort of glitz and glamour around it. In a certain way, as silly as it might sound, is it the best thing that could happen to Repsol Honda, that they can go about their work this year without the spotlight being so intensely on them?
It could well be, Jack. It's obviously giving up someone as brilliant as Marc is a massive blow, and Honda will have definitely felt that. I think the whole Repsol team will have felt that as well. But maybe it could be a really good thing for them. Just in what you said there, they're able to do their work diligently away from the spotlight. There's not this kind of rolling coverage of like Honda in crisis, Honda in disaster every time they're not fighting for competitive results, every time they're having a difficult weekend. And there's no doubt there will be difficult weekends ahead this year. there won't be that same kind of like klaxon, which is always ringing whenever things go wrong for them. So, I mean, it's difficult to say at this point whether it's a blessing that Mark has gone, but it certainly seems to have given them a bit of a hurry up, that's for sure. Reports in the Spanish press, even from the end of last year, the test that they did at Valencia. You know, I think from the Misano test to Valencia at the end of last year, they made a completely different bike, and that was kind of almost in reaction to what happened at Misano. And it did show you that Honda still has the kind of might. We're talking about the biggest motorcycle manufacturer in the world here. And if they do get serious, you know, there's no reason to think that they cannot get back to MotoGP in a few years' time. That's the only thing. I think it is going to take a few years. And, you know, whether Mir, Marini, Zarco, Nakagami are the level of Marc Marquez, I don't think anyone would really argue that they are. But they're certainly a capable rider lineup. So I think time will tell, Jack. Time will tell. I don't want to say right now that it's a good thing that he's gone, but certainly it seems they have reacted to the news that he's leaving in the right way. Let me put it like that.
And it does seem, given the manner in which Mark departed, that door is certainly not closed. Already speculation that if Honda are able to make enough strides, that Mark, of course, on a one-year deal, could have that dream come back for 25. But as you say, we shall have to wait and see. Neil, thank you for your time as ever. Really appreciate it.
Thanks very much, Jack. Always a pleasure.
Cheers, Neil. Good to be able to chat away with him, my commentary partner. Do enjoy being sat in the commentary box with him. Slightly weird to not have him alongside me and instead be doing it via Zoom, but looking forward to getting back underway with him once the season gets started. As ever, you guys have been sending your questions in, whether it be for Neil or for Simon. Of course, now a good opportunity to put your questions in for when Simon joins us later on in around about an hour's time. Also, you guys at home have sent your questions in that we shall be posing to Joan, Mir and Luca Marini later on as well. And here are the three that got selected.
My question is to Luca and Joan. Out of all the riders to wear these colors in this historic team, who inspires you the most?
Hi, Joan. I was wondering what it's like to work with Santi Hernandez, your new crew chief, and good luck this season.
Ragazzi, this is Matias from Santiago, Chile. My question is, if you have one word to describe your brand new bike, which one would be? Grazie, ciao.
Well, Matthias has quickly jumped in to top spot for my favourite fan question of the season so far. That is the bar, ladies and gentlemen. When you're sending your questions in, if you're not on board your bike and giving it some revs, then I'm going to be disappointed. Well done, Matthias from Chile, for that great question. Looking forward to hearing what both Luca and Joan have to say when we put that to them after the presentation. Around about 5 minutes away from it getting underway, under the lights in Madrid, and our man Liam Hodgins is there sampling the atmosphere. I imagine that it is filling up quite nicely now. Look at that. Looking lovely under those blue lights, Liam, and maybe that's an indication of a potential change in colour. Of course, in years previous, Honda has had an affiliation with blue, may well see a return in 2024. What do you think?
Well, Jack, I wouldn't put it past you to maybe have hit that nail on the head, but we still do not know. We've had some blue in the past with Mick Doohan, of course, the first MotoGP bike, Valentino Rossi, the RC211V of 2002 had a bit of navy blue on it. It looked gorgeous, so could be a return to form for the Repsol Honda. But as you can see behind me now, it really is starting to fill up. There are lots of people here, and it's incredible venue, which is actually part of an old train station which was built in 1861, the Madrid North train station, which had been left dormant for 4 decades, and in the last few years they've converted it, renovated it into what is just an incredible venue. And what better place to host this Repsol Honda team launch, the 30 years of Repsol Honda dating all the way back to 1995, than here at the music station. It's got a great name, it's got a great atmosphere, and Jack, I must admit, I don't know about you and all of you back home, but I am really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a venue it is as well. We've been treated to some good ones in the team presentation season so far, and that may well jump right into top spot. Liam, thanks for your time. Go get your seats. Get ready to enjoy what's to come. The music station. I must say, I've not been across to Madrid yet to enjoy any concerts, but that does look quite the venue. I may well have to put that on the bucket list. Right, before we head across and join, I believe it's DAZN's very own Izaskun Ruiz, who will be presenting the team presentation alongside Luca, Marini and Joan Mia. A good opportunity to tell you what's to come in MotoGP in 2024 and to get yourself fully booked in with plenty of opportunities, whether it be through MotoGP.tickets.com or other avenues, to be fully ready to go for the new season, which of course kicks off on the 9th and 10th of March. If you haven't got that one in your diaries yet, then make sure you have right now. After that, of course, we'll be heading across to Portimao, where it will be, you would imagine, quite the atmosphere, because lots of you were there enjoying MotoGP's finest hospitality options in Portimao last year, and it was always a raucous atmosphere whenever Miguel Oliveira rolls out of pit lane, especially given the fact of just how competitive he was as well. In the end, that infamous coming together with Marc Marquez kind of put a curse on the weekend, and there weren't many happy smiling faces walking out of Portimao. But now with a fully factory Aprilia underneath him, let's hope that Miguel Oliveira can send the Portuguese fans home happy at round 2. Lots of you getting in touch, including Kanishk, watching from India. Great to have you on board, Kanishk. Looking forward to getting back to the Bud International Circuit later on in the year for the second time. Lalo in touch as well. Joan Mir, lots of thumbs up. Champion. Well, it'll be some result if he's able to be champion this year, but as we were saying with Neil, easy to forget he is, of course, one of our world champions on the grid. 4 of them this year: Marc Marquez, Joan Mir, Fabio Quartararo and Pecco Bagnaia. Will we have a 5th one this year? Potentially Jorge Martin? Let's wait and see. Catty in touch as well. It's been nice to hear all of the positive things that the team have been saying, wishing them all the luck. Yes, a lot of positivity coming out of the Honda camp. Looks as though they have turned a corner. It's cautious. They're not wanting to sort of get carried away, but Johan Zarco saying that they feel that this new machine is potentially 6, maybe even 7 times faster than what they had to live with in 2023. And as I was saying earlier as well, the perfect opportunity to get unrivaled views, rider meet and greets, premium hospitality, paddock access, and much, much more as well. MotoGPPremier.motogp.com, the best place to secure access, all area passes. There is no better way to enjoy MotoGP this year, so make sure you go and check those deals out now, including, I do have to recommend, Portimao. It is a great, great venue, a great atmosphere, as I was saying, with everyone raucously cheering on Miguel Oliveira. Lots of other ones to come up as well, whether it be Austin, whether it be Jerez, of course, looking forward to getting back there in the Jerez de la Frontera circuit. It should be good fun to get there in what I believe will be late April, if my memory serves right. But instead of focusing on what's to come in a couple of months' time, let's focus on what's to come here with the Repsol Honda team launch. 30 years, 30 seasons that they've been in the Premier class. So much success as well. They've dominated for so much of those 30 years, whether it be Mick Doohan and those 5 consecutive World Championships, of course, the incredible partnership that they had with Marc Marquez and Danny Pedrosa in between that as well. So unlucky not to have won a Premier Class World Championship, but now a slight change in atmosphere. It's all about rebuilding. It's all about getting themselves back to the summit of MotoGP. And you do feel as though that they are on the path to do so. A change in mentality, a change in attitude should hopefully do them the world of good. Their 2024 campaign is just under 30 seconds away. Let's cross live to Madrid then and enjoy the Repsol Honda team launch for the new year.
I'm in love with the drugs, but they don't love me back. I'm in love with the pain, but you make it hurt so bad. You're the monster in my head, trying to tell me.
Muy buenos días, espectacular. Estaréis conmigo este inicio de la presentación del equipo Repsol Honda para este 2024. Bienvenidas, bienvenidos. Soy Izaskun Ruiz y os voy a acompañar hoy a lo largo de esta presentación en la que iremos conociendo todas las novedades de esta temporada que está a punto de comenzar. Una temporada que ya de salida es especial porque, como sabéis, se cumplen 30 años de la
anniversary of this alliance of Repsol and Honda for the MotoGP. It's been 30 years, but we've been enjoying great moments with amazing people who were competing with us. So the biggest fans, that is you. You are a key element for this team, and that is why you have to be here with us today. So that is why we opened the doors for you. So a big round of applause for all of you in the audience.
Y para agradeceros que habéis querido venir a compartir esta presentación este martes por la mañana, el equipo Repsol Honda ha preparado también unas cuantas sorpresas
Repsol team has prepared a
que
few
iremos
surprises for you that will be
desvelando a lo largo de esta presentación. De momento,
revealing to
no
you
puedo decir
during the
nada
day,
más,
but I
por
cannot
eso
tell
no
you
puedo
more
decir.
right now. Just one more
También
thing.
quiero daros las
Also, I
gracias
want
a
to
todos los
thank
que nos estáis
all
siguiendo
the
al otro
people
lado de
who
la
are
pantalla a
connected
través
online,
de nuestro streaming.
following our
Es verdad que
streaming.
no podremos escucharos aquí in situ,
Unfortunately,
en
we will not
persona,
be able
pero sí que
to
queremos
listen to
que
you
forméis
here
parte
on
de
the
esta
stage, but
presentación
we want
a
you
través
to
de
follow
nuestro
us
hashtag
through our hashtag Repsol Honda 2024, and there you can ask your questions, your comments, and also we want to know how you prepare for this great season 2024. And of course, all of you who are here, I hope you're already sharing content through your social media profiles. It's been 30 years with a great passion shared by Repsol and Honda, aiming at success. So we've gained some magic moments and a lot of and a great passion. A couple of days ago, we saw these bikes riding, but today they look even more astonishing. It's a great design. to start the new season that will start in less than a month. So we're about to start a year that will be a very promising year, and our Repsol Honda team has great passion, and we're convinced that we will continue in this constant evolution, leadership and innovation, which is the key feature of our team. And this remains present in this team, and this has made them one of the most incredible teams. So the history of MotoGP, before in the past 500, we've had their big riders sharing this journey of Repsol Honda. I don't need to name all of them, but I will. Like Big Lujan, Alex Cribillet, Valentino Rossi, Nicky Hayden, Casey Stoner, or Marc Marquez. They will always be part of our golden history of our MotoGP championship. So this story will continue now with our riders, Joan Mir and Luca Marini. We'll have them here on stage in a few minutes, but before that, we would like to invite on the stage two key persons in the collaboration of this team and the alliance of Repsol and Honda. So please, let's welcome Tetsuhiro Kubata and Marcos Fraga, Director of Communication.
Thank you for joining us, and welcome to this team presentation, this team Repsol Honda team launch. I guess this is a very special one, also for you and for Honda, celebrating 30 years of collaboration.
Yeah, it's true. It's at first, thank you very much for having me ahead of the start of another MotoGP season. And also, we as Honda is very proud to be here today. And 30 years, it's quite long. We have been working with Repsol, and together we achieved to the 15th Riders World Championships and also 10 team championship and 130 wins in the Premier class. Everyone involved with this project are working very hard to keep adding to these numbers in the future.
Bueno, pues que seguirán trabajando, ¿no? Con la misma intensidad para seguir aumentando esa lista, esos
So we'll continue working with a great passion to have even better numbers. But as Toshihiro explained before, after all these championships, obviously, also we've had 136 victories in the biggest category, and of course we've had 30 special years of alliance for Repsol and for Honda. And also, Marcos, it is very special for you to see. Also, this is very special for Repsol, and that is why we needed to have this big celebration with all the fans in this big theater, with all our followers. Good morning, Izaskun, and I would like to welcome everyone here in this theater. For us, it is a very special day, of course, and it is a day to celebrate. We want to have this new season with great passion, and we wanted to have a different presentation this year, just because we wanted to be closer to the people. We'll also have some surprises across the city. So we wanted this to be a celebration not just here, but also in the city.
You have just arrived from Japan. How is the pre-season going?
Our engineers have been working very, very hard since last 3 years. It's quite a big challenge for us. We already had the 6 days test in Japan together with our offshore rider and test riders. We are able to gather a lot of the information to continue to refining our package ahead of the round one the race. And also returning to the positions, we know we are capable of this process. And we are continuing to give our maximum effort to it.
Bueno, pues como nos cuenta Kubata-san, acaban de llegar de esos 6 días en los que sabéis que han estado rodando en Sepang, tanto con los pilotos.
So it's been 6 years in Japan with the testers and also with the official riders, and we've heard how this system is a big challenge for them, and they're working, all the engineers have been working very hard during the winter, and they gained very valuable information to continue fine-tuning this package and this alliance, Honda Repsol, to go back to the best positions that we've always had.
This season, you continue with Joan Mir, and now you add Luca Marini to the project. What do you expect from from these riders?
Yes, Joan has entered his second year with us. We believe that he can continue to build on what he learned last years. And we already saw his undoubted potential is on several occasions in 2023. So we are try to giving to him to what he needs to do this on regular basis. And yes, it's Luca Marini. He's joining to us. He's a young rider, and also with a lot of the ambitions. We have already seen his focus and desire to work in the first test in Valencia. And so we are sure that he will add a lot to our project. And anyway, also we would like to see, and we would like to see both riders on the track, and we are looking forward to see both riders on the track throughout the year, and also they're continuing to make forward progress.
Bueno, pues deseando conseguir ese progreso de la mano de sus dos pilotos.
All right, so of course we see they want to become winners again with Joan Mir. Of course, we want to continue. After his work in the last season, we've already seen he has a great talent. And as Kubata-san explained, in 2023, we've already seen in many moments his talent as a double world championship. So he's already been our champion 2 years, and we hope he will continue growing with this new Honda. And Luca Marini is our new rider, and we've seen already his big commitment. And with this brand, we already saw the first testings in Valencia, so he's very committed with the team, so that we can continue progressing to see good results. So Marcos, we've already had some kilometers in the season or in the past. So I'm still very surprised how you can always adapt and all the work that we do to adapt to the new challenges in all the different seasons, because we see it is more and more demanding. We've seen at the very beginning, also this year we're going to sit with our two riders. So you're very ambitious, and you very much promote renewable fuels. What do you think in the World MotoGP to obtain a more sustainable competition? Well, for us, this is a paramount. This is a solution for mobility as of today and also for the future. So I would like to thank here Dorna, the promotion of sustainable mobility by including 40% of renewable fuels to MotoGP this year, and also the commitment that this will become 100% in 2027. So this is a very big step towards the future. We have here the CEO of Dorna. So thank you so much for being here with us. And also he's proven this commitment in the World Organization of MotoGP with his step towards sustainability. Often we just look into the motorbikes, and we just see the exterior, but also Repsol is inside. We are the suppliers of the fuel of our competition team, Repsol Honda. So there is a big work here with people in our research center and our tech lab, because it's very close to, very near here. We have people working there full time to develop the fuel used by our team Repsol Honda. And most important, these learnings, this content learning is translated into the cities, into our fuel and gas stations through our products and services. So the clients, all of you, can benefit, you can profit from this technology development. You mentioned before, this goes from the competition to the streets. So this is now your goal from right now. So we need to know it's not just the fuels, renewable fuels, but also we can use them in our own vehicles, right? So that's also a very ambitious plan, right? Yes. So this is a new technology, but it is already a reality. So today, in Spain and Portugal, we have more than 60 gas stations supplying fuels which are 100% renewable, and Repsol's commitment is to finish the year with more than 600 gas stations with 100% renewable fuel. So we are very clear, we're very committed, not just in competition, but also at the stream for everyone. So thank you so much once again. Good luck. I can invite, you can go back to your seats. Thank you so much. All right, so we're going to have many surprises today, and now the moment has come to start with our surprises. Repsol and Honda are so proud of you, of the fans, of your passion, of your big commitment worldwide. So today we're going to give something back to you by offering 2 VIP entrances to one of the big prizes, big competitions here in Spain. And the best here is to have these 2 VIP tickets. This will be for some of the people who are here in the audience. So how can you participate? That's going to be very easy. You need to check here this QR code. You can scan it on your phone. And also we have my colleague Bea Guiraun back there. She will explain to us the process, but it's very simple, it's very easy. Hello, Izaskun. Hello, everyone. You see there's so many people here in the theater, so we'll see who will be the winner. I want everyone with your phones in the hand, checking this QR code, as Izaskun said. So you need to scan this QR code. You have to enter your name, accept the terms and conditions, and you will just go to the screen with the questions that Izaskun is going to be reading out. So, okay, so let's be very agile. We need to be very quick, because we are now in MotoGP world, so we need to be very fast, and you need to give the right answers, but also the faster, the better. So are we prepared? Are we ready? Is everyone ready? Are we ready? You good? Continue about history of MotoGP and Repsol Honda? Well, yeah, I know a little bit about it, yeah. So maybe you can win, yeah? Yeah, maybe, yeah. All right, so is everyone registered? All right, so let's start, Izaskun. So first question. When will the renewable fuels arrive in MotoGP? In 2026, in this very season, 2024, or C, in 2025? This one is easy. All right, so I see you are listening carefully, because I see you did pay attention. So many people had the right answer. So yes, it's going to be in this very season, in 2024. We're going to start at least 40% of the fuels will be renewable. So next question is also about renewable fuels. So when will we have 100% renewable fuels in MotoGP? In 2026, 2027, or 2030?
Vea cómo a la gente también se la saben tan rápido.
Ya se acaba el tiempo, vemos buena participación.
Pues también 231 aciertos, ¿no?
So 230 people knew. So yes, it was in 2030. Sorry, in 2027. As Marcos Fraga explained, so in 2027 we'll have this with the new regulation. 100% of the fields will be renewable at MotoGP. So third question is, this is also quite easy. Who was the rider of the team Repsol Honda? Mick Doohan, Alex Cribillé, or both?
Venga, que si habéis estado atentos, esto lo sabéis que lo ha dicho Izaskun.
Estas han sobrado 9 segundos fijo.
So I see everyone is very fast here because I didn't kind of remind at the beginning. That is correct. Mick Doohan and Alex Cribillé both were Repsol Honda riders, and they were world champions. Another history question: when did we start the alliance between Repsol and Honda MotoGP? In 1990, 1998 or 1995?
Pues tiempo cumplido también. Va a estar reñido, ¿eh? Hemos traído aquí a los mejores estudiantes de
So we see we have many people answering, many correct answers. It was in 1995. That was about history, but also maths, because we knew today was the 30th anniversary of this alliance. Yes, that is correct. And I think now the winner will be the fastest one, because it was all very easy answers. We see we have the winner here, Rafa Pitarch. Where are you, Rafa? So the winner is here. Congrats, congratulations. All right, so you were very fast. You were the fastest. So which circuit are you going to go to? I think I'll go to Cheste. Are you clear about it? Yes, because I'm from Valencia. I'm from the region, so yeah. And who are you going with? I'll go probably with either with my partner or with my dad. Not sure. Not sure. Okay, so we'll see who will be the winner of your second ticket. Thank you so much. So congratulations, Rafa, and enjoy your 2 VIP tickets. And now we'll continue with this presentation. We've already seen the motorbikes, we've talked about the fields, and we were able to have this talk with part of the team. We had the first surprises, but we still have a big surprise to come, of course. And you know who is to come, right? We're going to speak to the riders of Repsol Honda for 2024. A big round of applause for Joan Mir and Luca Marini, our official riders of our Repsol Honda team for 2024. Welcome, Joan, and welcome, Luca. I see you're very motivated, very passionate to continue making history for this team. And this year now you have these colors, which are a bit different. You like them? Yeah, sure. It's quite different, but I think it's going to be really nice, especially with us riding on them. And we very much hope it will be very fast motorbikes. Me love the motorbike. I think it's going to be a year for change. and it is quite different, so I do like it. Also, there's some changes for you. This is your second season in the team, but also there is a change of role. So you're going to be the beginner here. So how do you feel here about this role, leading the team? Well, I feel good. And we are now on a boat that we all want to try to navigate towards success. We've already tested the new bike and the new motorbike, and our colleagues in Japan are working really hard. We've tested many things. And I've really enjoyed the test drivings in Hepang, and it feels good to see the light at the end of the tunnel to start the season. You've probably heard this before. We've also invited our fans here to ask you some questions, because they always love getting to know you a bit better in your private life. So some of the questions they will ask are related to also being a pilot and being a dad. I don't know if you already bought your first little bike for your kid. Well, I'm really enjoying being a father. His first bike we got from our Repsol friends, but he cannot ride it yet. He cannot stand with the bike, but yeah, I will try to maybe get him some ball to play football or something else also. But yeah, he'll start playing with motorbikes very soon, and I'm sure he will love it. Has this changed somehow how you face competition? Well, yeah, when you become father, this changes you, and I'm enjoying this a lot. Also, the way you see things, you want to be home more, and you want to spend time with the kids, and you see how he grows. Now you have a big responsibility. And also, you want to resolve all the problems you may have just for your kid. So this will also help me to face some problems. So now, Luca, welcome officially to the Repsol Honda team. How do you feel being part of the biggest or the best winner team of MotoGP, Repsol Honda? Well, I'm very happy to be here today, and also to be part of this family, Honda Repsol. And every time I'm in the boxes, and when I see all our technical team and the motorbikes and the Repsol orange color and our Honda motorbikes, this is all incredible. It's like a dream. So we need to have a great year, a great season, and we'll need to fight to get the victory back.
So people keep asking just to get to know you a little bit more. So you are one of the riders who doesn't care about stopping because you keep training all the time. Maybe you're riding a bike at Madrid, or maybe do you have like a mental pause to recover? I think it's very important to do both, because right now the MotoGP season is very demanding, both for the physical and mental issues, because you know we have 2 races over the weekend, and that's very demanding. But I love running, I love riding, and I love it. And right now I'm very excited to start the new season. So I think it's very good to do a combination of both, and that's the best for us. So Joan, people keep saying that regardless of how serious you are, you make lots of jokes, especially when you're training with your friend Kiko. I don't know if we can tell some of those jokes in public. Well, Tito, he's like my brother. We've been training every day all together. So, you know, the routine of training, we need to relax a little bit and we need to make some jokes. So regarding jokes, I can tell you one. Tito is very jealous of his things. He likes having his van very clean and everything in order. So the very first day he was using the van, when we finished training, you know, he's like joking. So I finally used a fire extinguisher inside his van, so you can see what we usually do. So you should never get me upset. Yes, but we have a very good time training together, but we always do this type of jokes. So, Luca, you've been since 2021 in the Premier Class category. So, your first bike, you had it when you were 4 years old. So, how was that moment like? Honestly, I don't remember very well. I don't remember very well. I usually talk about this to my father, and I don't remember about anything, but I have so many pictures, and I had a very small bike with 2 wheels, with 2 additional wheels in the back. It was my decision to start with the bikes, with the motorbikes. When I was a child, I never saw my brother as a MotoGP rider. He was just my brother, so I was very passionate about motorbikes. And one day, when I was asking my dad if I could try it on, and yeah, you know, that happened, and right now I'm in Honda Repsol, and that's something incredible. So you're talking about your brother, the great Valentino Rossi. He's been part of this team. Did he give you an advice? Yes. We are going to talk a little bit about everything. We are going to talk about the season, and I'm very happy to be here, and he's very happy that I'm here as well. And last question before we start with the questions from the journalists. So we've been talking about this with Marcos Fraga. So for you, in Japan tests, you've been working with these new renewable fuels, so they are part of the competition. We are going to talk more and more about them. So how do you think, what are the consequences they are going to have in the MotoGP World Championship? We know that MotoGP is the highest level competition. So regarding renewable fuels, we are going to test them, and we can see how we can perfection everything, and maybe for the future we're going to be having 100% renewable fuel, so we can be cleaner with the environment, doing what we love. So that sounds great. Look at, you're part of the MotoGP future, and but that's also part of people's life. So yes, I do think that we need to enjoy, and we need to apply the things that we use in our daily lives to this, and I think it's going to be very interesting. So I hope that everything will improve over the future, because you know that's positive for us. So I'm going to ask you to stay here on stage, because people are going to ask you some questions. It's not going to be me anymore, but our colleagues from the press. So you can pose some questions. All the fans, you can use the hashtag Repsol Honda 2024 to start asking some questions to Joan and Luca Marini. Some of them will be on screen, and after that we will convey those questions. But before we start with the press conference, I'm missing a very important part of the team. So we're going to call Alberto Puig to come to the stage. He's the team manager of Honda Repsol team. So Alberto, we've been working very hard over the winter. The challenge is very important. There are many hours, many progress to try to recover the competitivity of this bike, you know, regarding sports results. So it looks like in Japan we've started having very good results. So what do you think about this? So you can take a seat if you want. So good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for coming over. So the Japan test was very interesting, because we really needed to see a direction, and there were 3 important things that had to be improved, and we could improve them. the riders tested the bikes, and we could see a difference regarding the last test in Valencia. So, German things to be improved, but the step we've taken has been very interesting. This year, with all the new regulations and grantings, we're going to try to use them properly so that we can go back to the positions that we should have in such a team that's Repsol Honda team that has been highly regarded and awarded and has a great history and has a very important position in the MotoGP championship. So you've been working in different areas, you've been testing different things, seeing different dynamics, you've been trying to decrease the weight. So yes, we've been trying to redesign everything. Some aspects of weight were very important to improve, regarding power as well. But of course, in a competition, you're never happy. There is something room for improvement because there will be someone who is better than you, so you're trying to reach the limit of everything. Riders in their professional development and in their career, and of course technicians are working very hard to make the bikes work at their best, and of course Repsol as well, because we are using this new fuel and we are trying to reach the maximum of everything. So it's very important to say that we have inclusion, we are motivated, we are very happy, and we have 2 young riders that are going to fight. And that's what everything is about. So best of luck. So now we are going to start with the round of questions. So we can start with the questions from our colleagues from the press. So you can ask in English, in Spanish, that's up to you. So please raise your hands and we can start with the questions.
English or in Spanish. So.
Buenos días. Mela Chércoles del diario Así la cadena SER.
Good morning from La Cadena SER. Luca, Joan. It's my only question for the whole year. How much, how important is Marc Marquez for you? His memories, he's been a key person in this team. So how come can you keep playing, having his memory and, avoiding comparisons? Thank you very much. Truth is, I didn't think of him for the whole year, It's more about what you expect from the outside, what people keep talking about. But the main goal here is to be at the highest level and to fight, regardless of the riders that have been in this team for the past few years. With or without him, we need to fight, and that's it. Yes, I agree with Joan. I think that Marc has been a historic piece at Honda. He's done great things, and that's what I want to do. So I'm totally aware of the work that I have to do, but now a new era for Honda has started. Hi, Filippo Garicio. Congratulations for your Spanish, Luca. So I wanted to ask you about this. You've signed for 2 years, and this was a surprise. So what do you think? Are you going to be working in the following 2 years? What are your goals for now and for the second season? I think that now it is very important to me to learn how to ride the Honda bike, because it's very different in comparison with last years. But every time I'm in the track, it becomes easier. The goal is to have a competitive bike to win. So I'm working at 100% so that I can leave my feelings aside and so that I can win. Okay, any other questions? So please remember that if you use the hashtag, you can ask them some questions as well. Good morning, Ale Roperrey from All Control Magazine. So I have two questions for Joan. Did your optimism change in the past 4 months from Valencia to Japan test? And how was getting in touch with Xavier Hernandez, your new team of work? So to be honest, I'm very optimistic right now because I've seen that at Honda they are working very hard. In just a few time, they've done a bike that's totally different, with some improvement in power and weight. And you know, those changes are very visible. The first time I tried that in Valencia, I could see that they had been working very hard. And from Valencia to Japan, they've done more improvements, and we hope that we can improve even more in the Qatar test. So I'm very excited, more than anyone, to deal with this situation so that we can enjoy the races. And I'm very excited. And regarding the change with Santi, I have to say that it was very, very well, because, you know, we've been having a great feeling with the whole team. We were together in Japan test, and we've been having a lot of time together. We could get to know a little bit each other, see how they are working, and I think we share a very similar way of working, and everything is becoming very natural. Everything is flowing, and that's very positive as well. Any other questions? Hi, Cesar Becerra from Venezuela. I want to know 3 things from each one of you. So, Jean-Mir, I've always been very curious to think that when a rider with high technology, that's a world champion, has a child, they change the way they think when they are riding a motorbike, or is it the same way you think? So, Luca, you know, you're replacing Marc Marquez. That calls my attention. What's your goal for 2024? And when are we going to see a victory this season? So, everyone says this. When you become a father, you are more careful. And the first training that I did, you know, I wanted to see if I had lost something. But I think that's helping me a lot. Because when you become father, you have like a more survival instinct. You want to deal with things in a better way. And that's something that we have to do, you know. We need to be very careful. We need to pay attention. We need to keep working on this project and deal with it. So right now, this is great. Thank you very much. So hi, Chema Vermejo from Lotte. I'm sorry, but I have to answer his question. My vision is very positive for this season. I'm sure that right now, I don't think the gap is very small. We need to work more, but as Alberto has said before, at first it was very important to find a direction. Now the direction is clear, so we are working very well with all the engineers, and I'm pretty sure that over the season and with the grantings, the motorbike will improve a lot. So as riders, we need to finish with the best position. I don't think it's going to be easy, but I think we will achieve that over the season. We will feel each other very comfortable with the motorbike. So with regards to your questions of when we will be able to see the first victory, I wish I knew. But there is something that's more than apparent, and we need to be objective. You know, we come from a very low position. Last years were not very good because of many reasons. And right now, we've seen that we have the foundations to start with the real recovery. Current things are done so that people can be in their position, so that the World Championship is more balanced and is more exciting. So we really hope that over the first part of the season, as Luca was saying, we hope that we can reduce the gap that we still have, and it would be amazing to think that maybe even before the summer, Joan and Luca can have the possibility to fight for the podium, and so that they can win the race. So, you know, that's the goal for the Honda Repsol team, and that's their goal as riders, because they're very ambitious, and that's what we are looking for, and that's what we are focused on right now. Okay. Chema Bermejo from Moto.es. The first rival in the competition is your team colleague. So, Joan, we've seen you suffer with the Honda. I think you would have liked to have better positions. That was not possible. But for example, when it comes to Luca, he's been having good positions with the Ducati. So, do you think that this year with these new motorbikes, with the new team structure, do you think you will have the same level? Do you think you will be able to reach the same positions in the competition? The question is for both of you. I did not understand very well the question. Okay, so do you think you will be able to compete at the same level as Luca and the other way around? I'm going to try to have a better position than him. But, as you have said, the first rival is your colleague from your team. But on the other side, he can be your best colleague. And that's what we need to find. Because, for example, if we are in a better position than our colleague, maybe the level can increase, the level for both of us. Luca, he's a great rider, and as you said, he got very good results last year. He's been using the best motorbike. So when it comes to training, he has some new things to provide, so I think we can make a very good team. Yes, I totally agree with Joan. I think he knows the motorbike better than me, even though it's different than last year. So I need to learn from him. I need to learn all the secrets about the motorbike, and I need to make the time a little bit different in comparison with last year. But it's going to be good, and I think we're going to be having a very good level. We are going to be learning from each other so that we can have better results. Hi, Manuel Pecino from Mundo Deportivo. I had a question for both of you. That's all about the managers from different teams. So we get the information that maybe they want to give you back the control of the motorbikes, that you are the main characters, and I think that's going to be included in the new regulation. So what do you think about it? Are the motorbikes very powerful? You don't have a lot of control on the motorbikes. What do you think about this? So we have absolute control on the motorbike. But yeah, it's true that regarding electronics, you know, somehow those are things that are easy for the rider. You know, it's easier for us to use the bike. But maybe it's true that, you know, the fact of having a show is reduced. And, you know, that's at the level of all the riders, because, you know, when you're facilitating some things, all the riders can do it somehow. So, even if we have less aerodynamics in the future, maybe that can be positive for the show. And yeah, that's what I think. Yes, I think the same. I think the bike is relatively easy to use in comparison with last years, and also regarding the wheels, they have improved a lot. And now the difference is very small between one motorbike and the other one, and between one factory team and one independent team. So yes, I'm pretty sure that in the future, when the regulation changes, I think that's going to be a positive change for everything, for the show, for the riders, because we will be able to enjoy even more. Good morning, Nicolas, Tuve, hi, everyone. But my question goes to Alberto Puig. It's going to be very straightforward. So if the motorbike is competitive, will Marc Marquez come back to Honda next year? I'm being very straightforward. I don't know. Yeah, clear questions and a clear answer. Okay, so we have some questions from you coming from the hashtag Repsol Honda 2024. So here we have it. So they pay a lot of attention to you. So you're coming with the airbag turned on. Yes, because I like having the light here. Yes. No, security and safety are important. You never know. Okay, please keep sending more questions with the hashtags. Repsol Honda 2024. I think there were some questions left over here, Chechu. Hi, Chechu Lazaro, Revista Honda Zero. So a question for Alberto. So right now, we are in the moment of full reconstruction. Is it more positive for you not to be on the focus of mass media, you know, because you had Marc Marquez before, and now you can be working more in development, in progress, without having the results impacted? I think that depends on how you take it personally. I think even though we are not on the media focus, our work is the same. We're fully committed, and you know, that doesn't change at all to me. Because, you know, within the box, there is no media focus. There is the team, you know, there is us, and we keep working. Yes, I totally agree with Joan. You can have whatever rider in the box, but at the end, you have a group of people, you have a bike, and the motorbike cannot fail. You cannot have any issues with it, because, you know, there are some people riding the bike. So people working on this, and, you know, engineers, all the technical staff are working on this. Of course, the rider will develop a potential that will provide the final result, but according to the interpretation of the situation, to the external pressure, you know, that's not within the equation, you know? We do not consider that.
Hola.
Hi.
Buenas. Estoy aquí enfrente.
Hi, everyone. Rafael from Frank YouTube channel. I want to ask a question to Luca. So you come from a team that's basically your family, that's your brother. We have an awarded motorbike. What was the key to change, to switch to Repsol, especially now that they are in a complicated moment, they are growing? I'm pretty sure that Honda is undergoing a very complicated moment, But I think they're going to recover, you know? And they're going to be the world champions. So I'm fully motivated to be here today because we have a common goal. And I think that's very important for a rider to be in a factory team, and especially this team has always been my goal. I know that right now it's not the best moment of history, but I'm pretty sure that the target is to go back to the best moment. So the goal is very clear for the team and for the person working on this project. So we have some questions from the fans. So in this case, we are going to ask a question that's been repeated all the time. So have you used the renewable fuels in the tests? Yes, we've been using them and we've tested them. Honestly, I could not see any issues with it, any disadvantage. I just asked Alberto if we had been using them because, you know, I could not even feel them. I could not see the difference. So if riders did not complain, that's because they work very well. So I think there were more other questions. Carmen Marin from La Zone, I have a question for you. We can see a visible change in the bike. Is it a reflection of something that happened in the box? You know, there is another approach, you know, in this season. You can see the new grantings and all the things that you may have to use the bike and to improve the bike. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry. You know, we can see that there are some changes in the decoration of the bike. Does it mean that we are going to have a new mindset over the season? Okay, the bike has completely changed. There is a new concept, but that's not related to the technical topic. That's not related to that. So that's part of the agreement. And that's not related to technical stuff or the bike's development. I think there were more questions over here.
Hola chicos, por aquí Patricia Cotón de Jugones.
Hi, Patricia Cotón from Jugones. So there are many changes in this new season, many new things. So could you define how this season is going to be like in one word for you? Okay, in just one word. It's going to be fantastic. Amazing. That's the way I would like to be. Amazing. That's the first question that came to my mind. Okay, thank you very much. We can continue. Hi, good morning. Edu Blas from TV3 for Joan and Alberto. Do you think this is the great challenge of your career? Maybe now you're about to become the leader of Honda Recovery, and for Alberto, regarding this concept, what's the greatest change of the design of the bike? Maybe you can ask in Catalan in your case. Truth is that this is a very important year for me. Maybe it's the most important year of my professional career right now. You know, if a rider has a year without being on the focus, that's not okay. And 2 in a row, that's even worse. So I want that to work. I want to do my best for that. And I think Honda is on the same page. And I'm very optimistic. So let's see if we can solve the situation in the best way and have a great season. Yes. So regarding the bike has changed a lot. For you to have an idea, so that the motorbike is lighter, you need to redesign many different parts of the motorbike, because they were there for a reason, but all of a sudden you decide to remove them. So the work has been very exhaustive, and in just a few time. And when it comes to the engine, we don't have a new engine, but everything has been redesigned, and that's very difficult. Sometimes it's even more difficult to make an engine from scratch rather than improving the one you already have. So we've been working a lot on the motorbike, and that's the prototype that we have right now. And of course, over the season, we will develop the prototype. So that's one of the things we want to do. And maybe the motorbike will change a lot from this moment to the month of September or October. Maybe we will see some important evolution, because we need them and we are going to find them. And of course, we are going to be working and developing the motorbike. Other questions? Joan, Luca? From Radio Nacional, so we have the experience from last year with the sprint races. This year we have 21 awards. I don't know if you as riders, do you like them, or how can you deal with a very demanding season with 21 awards and 22 races? Yes. Every year is more and more intense. Last year it was. So if you have in the front positions, it looks like you are in another championship. If you are in the back positions. But championship is the way it is. I think that mentally, last year we were very exhausted, and that's something that we need to consider for this year. It is very important to make things work and to have good results from the races. Yes, regarding the championship, that's something difficult to talk about, because we do not decide as riders. Of course, we need to be ready for everything, and it's very important to have a good relationship with the team, as if they were your family. So when you are in the races, maybe you are mentally exhausted, and maybe you are not having the result that you wanted to have. So we are going to try to do our best. It's going to be a long season with many races. Regarding issues, potential issues, we are going to be talking. The riders are going to be talking, because last year was very tough for all of us. But of course, doing more races, because there is more show, that means more money, and that's better for the riders and for the team. So I think it is very important that everyone has a good time. And in the tracks as well, of course, because we need to have everyone there, the fans, which is something very important for us as riders. Any other questions? A round of applause. I don't know if there are any questions left. I don't think so. Okay. So we are going to finish with this presentation. I ask you to stay on stage, and we are going to call Marcos Fraga to come to stage and Cubata Sant for the family picture. Of course, all presentations need to have the family picture, and especially when we are talking about the 13th anniversary, because, you know, we are celebrating 30 years of collaboration between Repsol and Honda. You know, this is a celebration event as well, so you can ride your motorbikes.
Cubata-san, please, here. Close to Joan, yes, please. Thank you. Muy
pues un fuerte aplauso para
So a round of applause for the Repsol Honda Team 2024. This is a family picture of this year.
Well, there we go. The Repsol Honda
Where we
launch,
celebrate
an
the
hour and 5 minutes
30
in,
years
is coming to a close. Plenty to dive into. Lots of questions there. But the big thing, of course, is that brand new livery for the first time in 30 years, pretty much, give or take. A radically new livery with Repsol sort of taking a bit of a backward step, and Honda now fronting that motorcycle. A lot more blue, a lot more red, but still with that classic orange touch to it as well. Personally, big fan of it. Do really like the change that they've gone for this year. But as ever, we're interested in knowing what your thoughts are, and we'll be asking for your opinion very soon indeed. Things just about wrapping up there with Luca Marini and Joe and Mia. Good to go, it seems. An air of quiet confidence, you feel, amongst the team. Both Joan and Luca had a stress that Rome definitely wasn't built overnight, and despite the changes and the progress that they have made over the winter months, it's not putting them in a position to be able to contend for the World Championship this year, but definitely the first building blocks, the first bricks have been put in place for them to try and get back to the top and get back to fighting for World Championships, as that team are very much used to doing. Lots to come then over the next, what will be half an hour, 45 minutes or so before we bid you farewell. Very soon indeed, we'll be chatting away to Simon Crafar to get his thoughts on how Honda did at the Sepang test, plus his thoughts in general on what went down in Malaysia. We'll also be hearing live from Luca Marini, Joan Mir and Alberto Puig as well, so don't go anywhere for that. If you do have any questions for Simon, then make sure you put them in the chat and we can fire them across to our resident expert, our favourite Kiwi. But before we chat to Si, why don't we cross live to Madrid to chat away to Liam Hodgins, who, of course, is there in attendance. And I'm sure, Liam, there's a bit of a buzz there, given the fact that that livery is so drastically different.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Jack. Drastically different is the way to say it, because it is. It's been almost 11 years of the exact same livery, and when the covers came off the bike, I don't know if you heard it in the live, but here there was a bit of a it was amazing to hear. There was a gasp from everybody and then a big cheer, and Repsol have given out inflatables for people, that the fans, to just bang about to show their appreciation. It's been going on all through the event. It's been fantastic. It's been such an amazing event. Lots of smiles on everyone's faces. As we saw, it was a really long event, talking to Alberto, talking to Luca, talking to Joan. Everyone wants to know what it's going to be like for Repsol and for Honda in 2024. And they seem quietly confident that it could be a much better year. And from testing, it looks like it might be. And it's sort of oozing from the riders and from Alberto himself that this could be a season where Repsol Honda fans could be smiling once again.
Yeah, both Joan and Luca had that air about them of not wanting to get carried away and not wanting to build expectations too high. But certainly there was, for Joan in particular, who we were speaking to Neil about, and has had a really terrible last 18 months where all confidence has been drained out of him. It's good to see him smiling again.
You're absolutely right. It's good to see that big beaming smile back on his face. The one that we haven't really seen for, as you say, the last 18 months. He's had such a hard time, especially when it came to the end of his Suzuki career as well. And those bad times just rolled into last year as well. He was out injured for most of the season. He came back, he couldn't get on with the bike. But now that he's switched over to Mark's old side of the garage with Santi Hernandez, there's an air of quiet confidence about him. And yes, as you said, we've started to see that smile again. And also Luca Marini, he looks very happy and confident. He's been popping jokes all day. And Luca Marini's got a dry sense of humour. He is a very funny guy, but we don't see Luca cracking jokes as much as we have done today.
Yeah, that was a surprise. He's a serious, he's a methodical character. He's Luca Marini, but good to see that the pair of them were enjoying their day out in Madrid. Things don't end there, though. I hear that the having a bit of a parade coming up now. So a busy day for you in store, but first up, the interview. So I'll let you go and get ready to chat away to both Luca and Joan. Thanks for joining us again, Liam.
Thank you very much, Jack.
Yeah, great to hear from Liam there, and sampling some of the atmosphere. You can hear in the background the quiet buzz, the quiet hum in that radio hall, which is good to see. A successful event, it seems, all in all, and interested to hear the thoughts of Joan, Luca and Alberto Puig in particular on where they feel they can go in 2024, and that is the big question to pose to our resident expert, good friend and colleague, fresh from his trip to Sepang, our very own Simon Crafar, who joins us live now. Si, as ever, good to see you. Looking well. You look slightly less refreshed than when we last saw you, given the fact that you've been up and down pit lane and getting the steps in Malaysia. How much did you enjoy getting a chance to hear those bikes rumbling down pit lane again?
It was absolutely brilliant, Jack. On the first day, when I realised, as always, they were running bikes that they used at Valencia tests or end of 23 to get up to speed, I used that. I was looking at the bikes on the other side of the garage, but I realised I had a lot of the morning free because they weren't going to get on those other ones until they're up to speed. So I went out on track to watch, and it was the first time for a while I've seen the best riders in the world in action, and it was so good. They are so good that I didn't expect it. It's easy to forget, you know, if you watch the TV, you lose that ability to see what they are doing, and to see it in person out on track, they are so good. And I realized they hadn't been on the bikes for months, that this sounds silly, but I had a lump in my throat, you know, emotional to see what they are doing on the bike, the risks they're taking, how they're losing the front and rear and sliding, and they're within 10, 15 laps, you know, on a dirty track. They haven't been on the bike for months, you know, they've been on production bikes, but it's astounding how good they are. You forget. So that was my first impression.
And the lap times as well, as we went throughout the 3 days, by the final day, were just ridiculous, into the 156s. We'll touch on that in a second. The guys at home have been giving their thoughts on that new livery, the new look Repsol Honda. Almost 3/4 of you liking it. I mean, Simon, you've been in the paddock for a long time. This is a big change. We're not used to seeing a Repsol Honda looking like that.
I'll be honest, I really like it. And if I didn't have an opinion, I'd say, you know me. But I like it. I think it looks great. I mean, there probably is. It's because it's a change, you know. Blonde hair, dark hair. You know, if you've had this dark colour for the last 30 years, if we went to the original Repsol, we'd probably all love it. It's just, to me, an awesome change. I genuinely like it.
Yeah, they've done an excellent job. It certainly looks good. The big question, though, Si, from what you've seen in Sepang, is it fast?
Yes, it's fast, because I relate fast to the engine, and the new engine is, well, the upgraded engine, updated engine is better, that's for sure. So what I've gathered is it is faster, meaning more horsepower, more torque, more top speed. And the important thing, which is not easy to get both, is the torque delivery is better, smoother, so it doesn't break traction as easy. You got to get that right, otherwise things are lighting up everywhere. But I'll come back to that. The other things I noticed is, well, the riders were happy, you know, with how fast it is, and they're not going to be unless it is quick. So the bike is quick now, engine-wise, with those changes. The visible things like the exhaust, that's probably part of that torque delivery they're working on. Or exhaust all different, chassis different, and the other thing everyone can see is the aero is different. It's apparently a few kilos lighter. Let's ask the man himself.
Exactly, yeah.
I'll come back.
Let's continue that conversation in a second, Simon, because we want to hear the thoughts of this man. Repsol Honda team boss Alberto Puig is joining us live. He's down there with Liam.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jack. Down here with Alberto Puig. Repsol Honda team manager Alberto. 30 years we're celebrating of Repsol Honda. You were a rider when Repsol came into the championship 30 years ago. Did you expect to be standing here as the team manager 30 years later?
Well, at that time you're thinking in another thing like racing, but yeah, it's very nice that two companies can go along for so many years with so much success and achieving so many championships and so it's really quite emotional and it's a clear sign that there has been a work done behind these years that has been proven like a real success, no? And yeah, I'm very happy and very pleased to be part of this.
Now the bikes are just behind you. The livery is so different, it's very striking. Also the bikes as well, very different in aerodynamics, and there looks like there's a lot of progress from the winter test so far. How has the test been for you, and what more is there to come?
Well, we have made some real improvements on the engine, on the weight, on the delivery of the power, but of course we need to still keep on working. No? We know, I think that the test was very important because we could find the direction. All our engineers, we had a lot of people in Sepang, and they made a big effort to understand the direction. And also together with the riders, they gave us a really good, precise indications. We think we know where we have to work on, so we are going to keep on going. We have these concessions this year which are really important, and we will try to maximize and utilize them as much as possible with a clear target and aim to be full competitive, probably not in the first races, but in the second half of the year. We expect, or we want that our bike will be, let's say, really much more efficient. So finally, the goal of all this is to go back to winning mode, and how to do it is with a lot of motivation and will to improve.
You've got two great riders in Luca and Joan. How have they meshed together to help push the technical side forward?
Yeah, we know Joan from the past, and we know last year he struggled a lot with the bike, but this year he recovered his confidence, and he's a very fast rider. He's a two-time world champion, so we have no question mark on him. So let's see how this bike can help him to deliver his potential. For Luca, I mean, he's a new guy, but we are really surprised about the way he's jumped into the team. I mean, it's like if we knew him for long. I mean, he's very precise, very structured. He knows what he wants, and he's a young guy, but looks very mature in the way he's acting inside the box with the mechanics, with the engineers, and at the end of the day, he's a very normal guy. So, from our point of view, it's very easy to work with a person like this, and we are very pleased for him to be here with us.
We hope for a great season for yourself and for Luca and Joan. Alberto, thank you very much for joining us, and all the best for the season.
Thank you very much. Let's see if we can make it.
And Jack, back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Liam. Great to get the thoughts of Alberto Puig. Simon, a quietly confident Alberto Puig, saying there that they may not well be up there fighting at the front in those first couple of rounds of the year, but they're hoping that by mid-season, of course, now with the concessions, the ability to develop the bike throughout the course of the year and test throughout the course of the year, with that, they feel that they can close the gap and be close come halfway through.
Yeah, the thing about Alberto, he will either say nothing and not answer, he'll either not tell you, but if he does tell you, like he was there, it's straight, Yeah. He's always straight. He's always honest with what he gives, and that's exactly what I saw there. He was giving us a straight opinion, and I think it's really accurate. So nothing to not believe about that interview. I think it's bang on. So let's go back through. We spoke about the power, increased torque, delivery, the work they've done. Alberto confirmed that. I didn't get it from Alberto, but the the problem still is traction. You know, he didn't mention that. It's grip, rear grip off the corners, you know, spinning, not going forward. And they've improved it by the sounds, by improving the engine, but they haven't fixed it. You know, everyone struggles with this because they are too powerful. These machines are too powerful for tires, you know, and it's not just trying to get more power, it's trying to get a power in a way that you can keep the grip and keep accelerating forward. Because once they start spinning with all that power and torque, they don't hook back up. So you lose the whole exit, and it's a lot of time. So the things that we also saw, I was saying, was exhaust, chassis, aero. Like he said, the whole package is kilos lighter, makes it easier for the rider, easier to accelerate, to stop. That's a good thing. The things we can't see, well, I'll touch on aero because I think it's one of the weaknesses, and we can see that they are obviously digging really deep and trying to close the gap, you know, and trying to improve the aero, and they have, because the riders have confirmed it, you know, meaning they are going with what they've got. They're all running the same, and it's not like they're back-to-backing. They'll probably come with more. They're allowed to. That's part of the concessions. They're allowed one more upgrade. But my feeling is that Honda, or the Japanese in general, but Honda are a couple of years behind in aero development onto the Italians. And it's going to take time, even at this big effort they're making, to close that gap. And we'll go on after we hear from Luca. Back to you, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's head back to Madrid. Brand new Repsol Honda rider. How excited is he for the year ahead? Luca Marini's down there with Liam.
Luca Marini standing here in Repsol Honda colours. Now, over the off-season, we did see an Instagram post of you as a kid in Repsol colours. What is it like to be standing here in Repsol Honda orange?
Yeah, it's great. It's a dream. Sure, we'll have some work to do, but it's like a childhood dream. So I'm really pleased to work with this factory. I think we made a good step forward in this test. Sure, we will have something to do more in Qatar test, but we'll be ready for the first race. Will be a long season, very interesting in my opinion. I want to arrive a good level in the middle part of the season. I think we can improve a lot. There is a lot of margin on all the areas of the bike, and also I can adapt better on the bike. Sure, will be really great to work with these guys.
What is your target for the season with Honda? Is it just try and get the development as far ahead as possible, or is it maybe aim for podiums later on in the season?
Well, I would like to start with like easy targets for now, because we don't know very well the level of this new bike for the beginning of the season. I think that I need to adapt also on the riding style that Honda needs to be perfect on track and be fast. Joan has a little bit more experience, so I can look at his data and improve in an easy way or in a fast way for be ready for the first races. And sure that the target is to try to give my feedbacks in the best way as possible, be precise and be clear with the engineers, so they can bring us something better every race, try to improve the bike and arrive like a half season with a good package, competitive for fight for podiums. Sure, will be not so easy, we need time, but this is the target.
We look forward to seeing the progress throughout the season. Now, before we let you go, Luca, we have a couple of fans' questions they've just sent in. The first one is from Matu Ride. He says, "Ciao, Luca. If you had one word to describe your brand new bike, what would it be?"
I don't know, different. No, looks different this year. Is a big change. When I was a child, I always see orange. A lot of orange, Repsol logo very big, so is something new, but also is good, represent the start of a new project, a new era of Honda. We'll fight for comeback on top of the world in less time as possible.
A very good answer indeed. Now, one more question we have is from Twin B. Out of the riders to have raced in Repsol, who has been your inspiration?
Can you repeat, please?
Out of all of the riders who have raced in Repsol, who has been your inspiration?
Among the riders, but out of Repsol riders. Oh, wearing Repsol. Okay, I can say my brother. It's easy. Okay, yeah, sure. It is great. I think he had a great history also with these colors. But sure, also Dani Pedrosa, that work a lot of time with this team. I like him a lot. Also, he's a good guy, and sometimes when we talk in the test, he's very interesting every time. So is something also to try to take some inspiration from him.
Thank you very much, Luca, for your time. All the best this season, and we look forward to seeing you back out on track.
Thank you so much. Ciao.
Jack, back to you.
Thank you, Liam. No surprise that it's Valentino Rossi, the former Repsol Honda rider, that inspired Luca the most. I think we could have guessed that one, Simon. But just to continue the conversation we were having, you mentioned there the updates that they brought, the engine taking a small step, as has the chassis. But the aero in particular, do you feel is the area of concern, or the area that they still need to work on the hardest to be able to close the gap?
Yeah, there's two areas I believe. One we can see, the aero, and like I said, I believe the Italians are a few years ahead, and that even putting in these big efforts, hiring people, making changes, it's going to take time to close the gap, with the aero. And I feel exactly the same about the other area that we can't see, and that's electronics. I think the Italians, again, a couple of years ahead, and it's going to take time to fix that as well. And that, I've always believed, as you know, that part of their rear grip problem is, or part of their problems is engine character. And I was really happy to get to pit lane and hear a change for the very first time. In the recent years, all the time that they've been struggling, I've heard no change in the engine. And this engine sounds a little smoother off the bottom, where the mechanics are warming it up. And to exaggerate it, instead of it going round, round, it's going round. It's doing it slower, a little softer, and it's got more power. But as the riders say, it delivers that torque smoother. The electronics, I think, is a part of the rear grip problem. Not being able to manage it as well as the opposition. So those two areas, I mean, they'll always work on all areas, but I think those two areas are what is going to take time for Honda and the Japanese in general to close the gap on.
Before we just touch on Rizal's question there, in fact, it's a quick one. You've already said you like it. Are we going for 10 out of 10 on the new Repsol livery?
I don't know of a 10, so because I would paint my bike like it, so I'm going to go with, 8.5, 9 in there, really, because I genuinely like it. Yeah.
Still a strong score. Just on the electronic side, whether it be Mark, Paul, Joan, riders within the squad in recent history, I feel like the biggest complaint for them was the consistency and having the trust in it, in terms of to be able to have Joan and have Luca, Joan in particular, who obviously has really struggled with confidence and having the trust to go out and ride the bike to its maximum. How important is it that they take the steps in that area? Because we know just how important confidence is for a rider. A happy rider is always a fast rider, and we've not been able to say that about Joan of late.
Yeah, the previous machine, up until 2023, the Honda, it broke a lot of people. And I'm not just talking physical injuries, talking mentally. They tried to ride it fast and it kept firing them off, or like you're saying, being unpredictable, maybe electronics wise, but losing the front end, not knowing when it was going to go, crashing repeatedly. And it doesn't matter who the rider is doing that, it breaks your confidence, and we saw that happen to Joan and others. So what I've seen in Valencia, they made a step forward, and now everybody, from all the sounds from Honda, is they are heading in the right direction, and this is big news because they haven't for literally years. And it's the first time we've seen a proper head in the right direction, looks like chassis-wise and engine-wise. So if they can keep, I mean, that would give the riders confidence and meaning hope. And without hope, you know. And so this is the first time I've seen the riders with hope. And that one other thing is, we've got to touch on Zarko, who is part of, I know he's not part of this launch, but he's one of the important Honda riders, and he is very happy with where they are right now. Like, it's further ahead than he expected. You know, he thinks the bike even now has some tools that he can fight with, and that's great to hear.
Absolutely. We can see a little quiz question for you guys at home to try and answer just before we head across to Madrid for the final time today from Joan. He's a superstitious rider, is Joan. He always puts the left or the right boot and glove on first, but which one is it? You guys at home can put your answers in now. Is it left? Is it right? Riders are very superstitious. And Joan himself, yeah, he might be able to tell us because he's there live for the final time with Liam.
Joan Mir, you're looking very dashing in your new attire. It's a little bit different to last year, but also very different as well. How are you feeling ahead of the new season? I must admit, the smile looks like it's back.
Yes, well, the truth is that looks like some change, you know. It's a year of changes. The bike is completely is completely different as the previous year's one. Also the leather, but for me looks shiny, looks very nice. I like how it is at the moment. The design is very aggressive, let's say, and I think that will be nice to on the first race in Qatar.
We certainly look very forward to it. Now, we've just had 6 days where you've been on the bike in Sepang. How was that for you? It looks like there's a bit of progress, but what more are you looking for from the bike to help you push for those consistent top 10s, top 5s?
Well, honestly, I think we improved a little bit of everything. We just missed a little bit of acceleration. Is at the moment what we are missing probably the most. Acceleration, then something on the aerodynamics. As you can see, the bike is completely different in terms of aerodynamics. Looks more modern bike. Last year there was only one wing, and this year there are a lot of wings. So yeah, looks great.
It's a very striking new bike. Now, before we let you go, Joan, we have a couple of fans' questions for you to answer. The first one comes in from Darwizi, and they want to know what's it like to work with Santi Hernandez.
Yes, this is a good change, let's say, because with Santi we was very natural on the test. We were able to create a good atmosphere inside the box that, as you know, is something very important for a rider. We were able to work together to know a little bit more each other, also together with the team, with Ricardo, with Carlo, with all the mechanics. Was something very, very great. I really enjoy to work with them at the moment, and I think that we can make a good team this season.
Good times ahead indeed, it looks like. Now, the final one, Twin B wants to know, out of all of the riders to wear these colours in the team's history, which one inspires you the most?
The colours of the previous 20 years. Well, on the previous 20 years, the bike changed not so much. I will say that the biggest change was this year. So it's true that with in the 500 era, the bike was very vintage. I really like it, but this design probably reminds you that there's some change inside of the team. So I will get this one.
And which rider from the past 30 years to wear the Repsol Honda colours inspires you the most?
Which rider? A lot of them, they were super successful, almost all of them. So to start with Duhan, continue with Casey, then the Pedrosa Mark, all of them. If we are able to be a little bit less successful than them, but close, will be very nice.
We're looking forward to hopefully some successful times ahead so you can add your name to the pantheon of greats for Repsol Honda. Joan, thank you very much for your time and all the best this season.
Thank you very much.
And Jack, back to you in the studio.
Yeah, thanks again, Liam. Some great questions there. Joan, I know Simon is a rider that you rate really highly. There's a move across for him in the box, in the fact that he's now stepping across to work with Santi Hernandez, but you feel that's more than just a move for visual. He's moving across, and within the team itself, you feel he's taking on more of a leadership role after a very difficult couple of years. Is he ready for that? Do you think he's a rider that is capable of spearheading Honda back to the summit?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, he did it at Suzuki, you know, in the early years, and he was very inexperienced then. He's an intelligent guy. He's very opposite of cold, you know, so warm, you know, warm person. And I mean, I have conversations on, you know, when we're having flights about, you know, about being a father, you know, I'm ahead of him there, and relationships and the things you don't get told before you go through all this. And he's a great guy and very talented. So if his tail's up, you know, which it wasn't last year, we saw him really beaten down, you know, and I think it started really well. I can see the relationship in the garage. That's why I thought that was a good question. But it's visibly good with Santi and Joan. They've both got good sense of humor. So, you can see that, you know, in between the hard work periods, they burst out laughing because I imagine they're both dry, you know, having a good giggle. So that looks very good. And I'm really hopeful for him because he has a lot of potential. If Honda give him something to work with, that's possible, you'll see the results.
We've touched on Honda in terms of their outright speed, Simon. Joan inside the top 10 was 1.1 seconds faster than what he was able to do in qualifying in November last year at the Malaysian Grand Prix. Under the lap record, a lot of positives there, but looking at the timesheets over a slightly longer distance, that looks as though there is an area of concern there where even still they're a little bit far away from the likes of Ducati, KTM and Aprilia, who were bunched together more or less within a sort of 2.5 seconds gap.
That's really accurate, Jack. I like that. I think that the lap time Joan did, you know, the time attack was really impressive and shows his skill, you know, to do it, and that the bike has improved because he also did that amazing lap time, managing to go faster than Mark in qualifying with the old bike. Part of the improvement for everyone was less temperature because they did it in the morning where we won't be qualifying at. So it was a little bit of a fake, you know what I'm saying, half second in there. Now we've got another man who can tell us something interesting. And let's get back to after him about why I think they're struggling over race distance.
Absolutely. We'll get back to that. Before then, though, always great to get the thoughts of this man, a very important, very influential figure at Honda. Tetsuhiro Kawata is with Liam.
Kawata-san, thank you so much for joining us here for 30 years of celebrating Repsol and Honda together. Now, the last couple of years have been a little bit difficult, but where have you seen improvements ahead of this season 2024?
Yes, it's true. We are facing the really difficulty since 2020. That time is that we are facing so much difficulty due to the COVID disaster. This is true, but same timing, also we had a little bit behind of the other manufacturer. So now we are trying to catch up to them, to working very hard to improve our machine performance. It's this year's we try to change everything, and we are trying to improve all of the areas. Of course, still we are on the way, but we understand the correct directions. So let's do it until achieving our target.
And what from the new bike has been the main focal point to improve going forward in 2024?
This is the most important things for us now is how to make the correct package of the machines. It's not only aero, not only the engine, not only the chassis. We have to consider the total package of the machine. Now we are still learning a lot at some part of this approach, but we already start to understand some part as well. It's right to feel that the better package is compared to last years. We are going to keep the same direction for this year.
Now you have concessions for this year, 22 test days with the riders if you'd like to use them. How important is this to help push the development of the bike, not just the Repsol riders but also the LCR riders of Zarco and Nakagami?
Yes, finally we have 4 riders, not 2 riders. So I mean that we try to take all of the opportunity to help the development of the machines. So I mean that we have a concession. We can do much more tests than the last 3 years. Also, we always collaborate with LCR teams to develop the machine. Okay, let's say our target is same. We are one team, so we try to improve the machine as soon as possible this year.
And the riders, have they all been collaborating and pushing in the same direction in terms of development, or has some been pulling in one way and one in the other?
So far, all of the comment from the riders is really similar, and also the understanding of the problem is really similar. So I mean that for us, it's quite clear to what is our weakness. So we are now focusing on that improve this weakness point now.
Kawata-san, an absolute pleasure to speak with you and all the best for the season.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And Jack, back to you in the studio.
Yeah, thanks again, Liam. Great to get the thoughts of the HRC General Manager, Tetsuhiro Kawata there. Just to continue on our conversation then on that longer distance, surprisingly, it was Fabio Di Gianantonio that was fastest of everyone in Sepang, which proves that the work that he was doing, he may well not have been at the top of the timesheets, but did you in great form. But for Honda in particular, why do you think they're just missing that little bit over a longer distance?
Well, I think he's trying not to tell us all the secrets, but he was straight up saying that it is the whole package, that, look, for example, Ducati, their advantage is acceleration off the corner. They're very good in the braking area, but their acceleration off the corner for the one-off lap is phenomenal. And to get that, whether it's for the one-off lap or every lap over race distances, like I was saying, is to, you have to not wheelie and you have to not spin. And you can't just add more power, because people might believe we're down on our acceleration when the riders say that, or an engineer, and you think, oh, they haven't got enough power. No, they've got enough power. It's how it's delivered. It's managing to not break traction and drive forward to get that acceleration. So they're all basically saying they know the area, it is that acceleration, but it's not spinning is more accurate, and not spinning and not wheeling. And to do that, it's engine torque delivery, which they've improved. It's how the device drops smoothly so you don't break the traction, lowering the center of gravity so it punches forward even faster. And then the aero, how that works. And then the electronics, because the aero holds the front on the ground so you can accelerate harder without wheelie. And then the electronics, how it's managing if it starts to spin. So he's dead right. It's the whole package. And a tough job to close that gap, but they're making some progress. So over the distance, just to answer that question, what I think is you got a brand new tire, you hook up a little bit better, you can do the lap time. But as the tire drops and it's spinning, you're wearing it quicker, you're damaging that tire, and your race, it's really easy to work out. If you have spin, you're going to eat more rubber, the tire's going to drop quicker, and your race pace over the distance is going to be dropping at the end. So That's what I think.
Interesting as ever, Simon. Loving the explanations. It's not an easy job, is MotoGP, is it? Just before we let you go, did have a question pop up from the guys that are watching at home. An interesting one as well. We've touched on it. This one from Stumpy Nation. Just wanting to know, from a rider's perspective, just how difficult it is to come back having gone through a year like Joan Mir had to do last year. That one coming in from America, Newport, Rhode Island. So thank you for that question. A great question. And yeah, a good one as well. Just how much of a challenge is it? Did you have to go through a period like that in your career at all?
Yeah, and I didn't come back from it. Thanks for reminding me. So we changed something huge, and that was tyres. I lost confidence because and I couldn't change me, which I think was the problem. And it happens at a certain age that, sports people have to adapt, and that's part of the job as one of these riders, adapt with new machinery, new tyres, anything that changes. And I'd changed tyre brand earlier in my career, 96, and changed me quickly to adapt to them, and then had success, which got me a good job. And then during that job, we changed tyres back, and I couldn't change me. I'd headed off, and it's really interesting. It's one of the reasons I respect Valentino so much, because he could keep adapting at an older age, and most runs out sort of early 30s. You stop being able, you set in your ways, and it was amazing. Keep adapting over different tyres, machines, errors, awesome capacities. So getting back to Joan, he clearly hasn't lost confidence to the point where he's out, because he's got back on this bike, and you saw what he did in Sepang. You would not be able to do the fastest Honda time, below lap record, and 1.1 seconds faster than you've ever ridden a Honda round there before, even with improvements, if your confidence was permanently damaged. So I think he's in a good spot, and I'll go back and repeat what I said before. If Honda give Joan and this man what they need to get the results, you will see it, because they're good riders.
Yeah, you have to admire the mental toughness that Joan has shown to what seemingly is to have overcome that difficult period last year. And fingers crossed it can continue throughout the course of the year, because as you rightly say, and I'm a part of the Joan Mir fan club as well, one of the most amicable, most pleasant riders that we have the opportunity to chat to throughout a weekend. So we hope that it's a good year for him and for Luca Marini as well. Simon, as ever, thank you for your time. Loved the analysis, and looking forward to catching up in Qatar. I'll see you there.
Welcome, Jack. See you in Qatar.
Thank you very much. Always great to get the thoughts of Simon Crafar. Very, very rarely disappoints, does he? So there we go. The full analysis of just where Honda are at the moment and what they need to do over the course of the next 9 to 10 months to try and get themselves into a place of being slightly more competitive. Right, okay, let's take a look at a couple of things that we need to remind you of. The first one comes courtesy of MotoGP Authentics, the best place to get the very best in exclusive MotoGP memorabilia, including, I mentioned this yesterday, we saw that Joan Mir in Malaysia was signing a few goodies for you guys at home to try and get your hands on. Miracle Mir, a signed, officially authenticated knee slider, courtesy of the number 36. That and plenty of other things are available on MotoGP Authentics. So just stick that into your Google search bar or whatever search bar you like to use. I mean, are people using Yazoo now, or what was it? Ask Jeeves? I don't think so. Google. Have a look on Google, MotoGP Authentics. Few of you have been getting in touch on chat. We'll have a look at them in a minute, but let's say goodbye and a big thank you as well to the brilliant Liam Hodgins, who's done a magnificent job for us there in Madrid, as what has been an enjoyable event, it seems, Liam. Have you enjoyed your time there?
Jack, you're so kind. Yeah, I've had a great time here. We're standing so close to the brand new RC213V in all striking glory, the new Repsol Honda colours. And it's been such an event filled with so much buzz about the new season. As we heard from Kiwata-san, he he's got a big smile on his face. He seems really happy about the progress that Honda have made and where they're going to go for the season. The riders, Luca looks extremely happy. Mir's got that big beaming smile back, as we have already spoke about. So those are great times ahead. And I think once we go off air, I might go mingle and try and see if I can actually get a little set down on one of those bikes. I've never sat on a MotoGP bike before, but they might chase me away. But yeah, it's been a great event here in Madrid in the music station, and I must admit it's been great to be part of this event as well. And Jack, thank you very much for letting me be part of the show, and back to you.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Liam, fill your boots. Make sure you jump on board one of those MotoGP machines. And if you do get in trouble, you can just blame me. Don't worry.
I will do. I'll send them your way, and then you can chase them away.
Yeah, not a problem. I like to get in trouble. I often do on a Grand Prix weekend and have people telling me off left, right and centre. So no change that. Nice to start the year as we finish 2023. Thank you very much to Liam. Great to be able to have got the thoughts of the key contenders for Repsol Honda. And he's exactly right in what he was saying there. It was difficult to disagree with him, the fact that there is that quiet confidence about the squad, which is a definite mood shifter and an important one, a nice one as well, to see that there is slightly more optimism there than throughout the course of 2023, where I have to say, from walking up and down pit lane, sometimes just looking into the Repsol Honda garage slightly made you feel a little bit upset and depressed as well. So good to see that they are on the up. As we mentioned with Simon at the MotoGP test in Qatar, not too far away, 6 days time, this coming Monday and a week today, 2 days of testing. Best place to stay in touch with it is the MotoGP app and website. We'll have After the Flag live as ever with Lewis Sotheby and Elliot York. Our live text will keep you fully up to date with all of the happenings in pit lane. Live timing available there, and lots of interviews filtering through as the teams and riders get ready for the season to officially get underway. RSJ saying that he likes the new look of the Repsol Honda squad. What else have we got? Scobaroo, he loves it as well. Or he or she, a big fan of the new livery. Thanks, Jack, for another presentation show. Very welcome, Stumpy. Thank you for your question as well. Great to have you on board with us for another one. And before we let you go, here's a reminder of what is coming your way over the next week on MotoGP.com. A day off tomorrow. And having gone back-to-back on team presentations, I'm extremely thankful for that. But we're with you on Thursday for the Castrol LCR and Idemitsu LCR Honda launches. We'll be chatting live to both Johan Zarco and Taka Nakagami, so join us for that one on Thursday. On Sunday, we'll be crossing live to Qatar for the Aprilia launch, then the Qatar test, as I said, Monday, Tuesday next week. Before then, in around 2 weeks' time, a special one, the final one, the Prima Pramac Racing launch in Bahrain ahead of the Formula One season opener. Liam Hodgins will be jumping on a flight and joining us for that one as we see Jorge Martin kick off his 2024, hoping to go one better. But that is all we've got time for. Thank you very much for joining us. A huge thanks to our guests as ever, Liam on site in Madrid, Neil Morrison, Simon Crafar, and all of the Repsol Honda squad for chatting live. Certainly, the slate has been wiped clean, and the Repsol Honda squad have started a new era, a new chapter with a new livery, an air of cautious optimism. What can they achieve in 2024? We'll have to wait and see, but it looks as though the new look is going to give them plenty of inspiration. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on Thursday.